मुझे लाइव कर दीजिए, मुझे बोल दीजिएगा। Hello friends, good evening and most welcome. Today is the third day of Polity support program, and today we will discuss one topic which is very important, Parliament. Now if you look at this topic, Parliament, every year question is asked, at least 3 to 4 questions asked every year by UPSC. So we are hoping that at least 3 to 4 questions or at least 2 questions would be there in prelims 2024, right? So today we will take up few questions, and through questions we will revise our basic concepts, right? So let me begin with the questions, right? Now look at the first question. With reference to the composition of the parliament, consider the following statements. Regarding composition of the parliament, the Lok Sabha members are elected directly, the Rajya Sabha members are elected indirectly, the proportional representation system is used to elect the members of the Rajya Sabha. Now here you look at the parliament, right? And in the parliament there are Rajya Sabha, which is upper house. Secondly, there is a Lok Sabha, which is a lower house, and then the president. Now we have president in parliament, right? President is an integral part of the parliament, although president is not a member of the parliament, right? Now if you look at member of the Lok Sabha, now if you look at member of the Lok Sabha, members are elected directly, right? Directly by the people, Now look at the Lok Sabha members, or the Lok Sabha itself reflects will of the people, right? The Lok Sabha reflects, or the opinion of the Lok Sabha, or any decision taken by the Lok Sabha reflects opinion of the people, right? Now if you see preamble of Indian Constitution, which says we the people of India. Now can you tell me what is the we the people of India? Now if you look at the Lok Sabha represents we the people of India, we the people of India, right? Theoretically it is called popular sovereignty. The Lok Sabha represents the popular sovereignty, right? Members are elected directly by the people, right? Now let me talk about the Rajya Sabha. Now what is the Rajya Sabha? Rajya Sabha is a federal chamber. Federal chamber, what does it mean? Rajya Sabha represents will of state, right? If you look at Rajya Sabha, there are members from UP, there are members from Kerala, there is a members from Karnataka, there is a members from Tamil Nadu, there are members from Assam, right? Now this Tamil Nadu legislature elect member for the Rajya Sabha. The Karnataka House legislature elect members for the Rajya Sabha. UP State Assembly elect member for the Rajya Sabha. So they are not directly elected by the people, they are elected indirectly. So it is called indirectly elected, because if you look at people elect the members of the Tamil Nadu, and members of the Tamil Nadu Assembly elect members of the Rajya Sabha. So here Rajya Sabha members are elected indirectly, this is also correct. Lok Sabha members are elected directly, this is also correct. Now the proportional representation system is used to elect the members of the Rajya Sabha. Now if you see the members of the federal chamber, they, here which electoral law is applicable, right? The law which is applicable for the election of the members of the Rajya Sabha, which is called proportional representation by the means of single transferable vote. On the other hand, if you see the Lok Sabha, their members are elected on the principle of FPTP, first past the post system, right? So here you can see the basic idea about the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, right? Although if you look at, few members are also nominated in the Rajya Sabha, right? Not all members are elected by the state assembly, few members are nominated by the President of India, right? And you may know that 12 members are nominated. So here you can see first, second and third, D would be the correct answer. So this is something called basics about the parliament. Let's move to the next question and see what the concept we can analyze by going through question, doing question. Now look, question number 2, and here which one of the following statement is not correct about the electoral constituency of the Lok Sabha? Now it is talking about electoral constituency. Now first what is electoral constituency. Who creates electoral constituency? First you should know, right? Now if you look at the entire India has been divided into electoral constituency, so that from each constituency one member can be elected to the Lok Sabha, right? Now if you look at, for example, Maharashtra, right? The Maharashtra, within Maharashtra you can see there are electoral constituency, right? Within Kerala you can see electoral constituency, within Karnataka you can see the electoral constituency, in UP electoral constituency, right? So throughout territory of India electoral constituency is created so that member can be elected for the parliament, for the Lok Sabha. Secondly, you must know that this electoral constituency is drawn and redrawn by, who draws and redraws the boundary of electoral constituency? It is, delimitation commission. You must know that delimitation commission. Delimitation commission is a body which draws and redraws the boundary of electoral constituency, right? So that a member can be elected to the parliament, to the Lok Sabha. Now what is delimitation commission? It is a statutory body, created by the Delimitation Act, the Delimitation Commission Act, right? Now if you look at, according to the Constitution, Delimitation Commission Act or any law of the parliament shall draw and redraw boundary after each census. Now if you look at, according to the Constitution, right, according to the Constitution, electoral constituency can be drawn and redrawn after each census. I am writing electoral constituency shall be drawn and redrawn after each census. And you know, when census happens, after each decade there is one census, and therefore we can say that after each census electoral constituency can be redrawn, right? Now if you look at for electoral democracy in India, first time delimitation commission was formed in 1951, right? The first delimitation happened. First delimitation was conducted in 1951, and you can see that there was an election, right? Then second delimitation commission, second was done in 1961, right? Just after census. Now if you look at third was conducted 1971. Now after 71, if you look at, there was some issue. The issue was, the population growth. The northern states were growing faster, the southern state was not growing, and there was a disproportion in terms of representation, right? So what happened? The 42nd Amendment Act, if you see 42nd Amendment Act, yeah, 42nd Amendment Act basically frozen the seat. Now what happened in 1971? 1976. The 42nd Amendment Act 1976 frozen the seats of Lok Sabha on the basis of 1971 census. You must be knowing it. Now for what time? For actually next 25 years. And it was thought that there should be some population control, some family planning, right? And there can be balanced. Now later on we will find out the number. Now what happens? The 25 years actually completed in, now look at, in 2001. Now here you have 84th Constitutional Amendment Act, which actually again extended the frozen of the Lok Sabha seats or the parliamentary seats for the next 25 years. Now you have done frozen again in 2001 for the 25 years. Now look at for 2026, seat has been frozen, right? The seats of the parliament has been frozen till 2026. There can be delimitation for the parliament, right? Now let me tell you one again, what are the unit delimitation commission takes when it draws and redraws the boundary? Of course you see that first delimitation, second delimitation, population was the basic criteria, not the territory. Population was the basic criteria, not the territory. So basically if you look at, population is a basic criteria to create electoral constituency in any state. And one more thing to remember, that the electoral constituency should be created so that we can witness uniformity in the state, uniformity among the state. I'm repeating here, electoral constituency should be created in such a manner that there can be uniformity within the state. For example, this is a UP, consider this is a Uttar Pradesh. One constituency we have created on number of population 10,000. Just take the example. Now the second constituency should be based against 10,000. Right, third constituency 10,000. Yani each constituency should be 10,000 on 10,000 population, so that there can be uniformity within the state. There can be uniformity within the state. Now consider the UP population is 3 lakh. UP population is 3 lakh. Now how many seats should be of UP? UP may have how many seats? Now you have to divide. 30 seats for UP. So UP has 30 seats because each seats represents 10,000 population. Now consider, come to the Kerala, where you have 90,000 population. Let me consider 90,000 population. Now how many seats should be there? Now you have to again divide it by 10,000. Now only 9 seats should be allocated to Kerala. Similarly, Bihar. Similarly, Madhya Pradesh or Maharashtra. So number of constituencies shall be created in proportion to population, right? So that a uniformity can be maintained within the state, among the state. That you keep in mind. This is basic about the electoral constituency and delimitation commission, right? Now if you see this question, now question is, I'm again going to read it. Which one of the following statement is not correct about the electoral constituency of the Lok Sabha? Now it says there is a uniformity in representation between different states. Correct? There should be uniformity among constituency within the state, right? Among the states, right? Delimitation commission divides electoral constituency. It is also correct. Election commission cannot do it, or other commission cannot do it. It is a only delimitation commission which divides electoral constituency, right? Now look at the question number C. The size of the electoral constituency is based on territory and population. No, territory is not under consideration. Otherwise, Rajasthan would have been more seat. If you look at Rajasthan, its territory is larger than the Uttar Pradesh, right? So we cannot take territory as a for fixing up the size of electoral constituency. Population is fine. So you can see this is wrong. This is wrong. Now third, it has been frozen permanently on the population census 97. This is also wrong. So if you look at two statements are wrong, right? Here we find two statements that are wrong, right? Now, so you have to answer accordingly. You have to identify the question. Now look at the next question, right? Now consider the following statement. Question number 3. In the first Lok Sabha, the single largest party in the opposition was Swatantrata Party. In the first Lok Sabha, the single largest party in the opposition was Swatantrata Party. No. When the first Lok Sabha election was conducted in 1951 November and 1952 February, Now the largest party was Left Party, not Swatantrata Party. Swatantrata Party formed later on by C. Rajagopalachari. In the Lok Sabha, a leader of the opposition was recognized for the first time in 1969. Yeah. In the Lok Sabha, the leader of opposition was recognized for the first time in 1969. That is correct. In the Lok Sabha, if a party does not have a minimum of 75 members, its leader cannot be recognized as the leader of opposition. No. The number does not matter. What does matter? The 10%, right? 10%. Any party which secures, 10% or above seats of the total Lok Sabha seats can be categorized as the opposition party. So you can see here that this is wrong, this is right, and third is wrong. Now look at the question. Which of the statement given above is or are correct? So we found only statement 2 is correct. Statement 1 and statement 2 both are correct, incorrect. Fine. Now look at question number 4. Now consider the following statements. The Parliament Prevention of Disqualification Act 1959 exempts several posts from disqualification on the grounds of office of profit. Now look at, first it talks about one law, and that law is the Parliament Prevention of Disqualification Act 1959. This is a law. Now what is this law? Basically this law exempts several posts from disqualification on the grounds of office of profit. So first you should understand what is office of profit. What is office of profit? ये है क्या? Now office of profit refers to any office that gives monetary gain to member of the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha, right? So any office, any government office or any public office, I said public office, all public offices are government office. Any public office that gives monetary benefit. Monetary benefits to members of the parliament, right? Members of the parliament. At the state level, members of the state legislature. Now look, let me tell you, there are certain posts are exempted. If you look at exemption, the post of president, vice president, right, governor, these posts are actually exempted from, right, council of ministers, so they can be the member of the house and then can be ministers, right? They can hold 5 offices at the same time, right? And may have pecuniary gain or may have monetary gain. Now, if you look at Article 102, right, which says something about office of profit. And what is said? It says that any MP, if MP holds office of profit, right? If MP means member of parliament. If MP holds office of profit, they can be disqualified from membership of the parliament. Membership of the parliament. Membership of the parliament. Now similarly, if you look at article 191, actually talk about MLA. MLA means member of legislative assembly. Right? If any member of legislative assembly, gains some monetary profit or monetary gain from public office, they can be disqualified. Now let me tell you, in this case, who takes decision? Basically, the election commission, they investigate the case and election commission give recommendation to the president. In the case of the parliament, or election commission give a recommendation to the governor. In case of the state assembly, right? And then president take decision accordingly or governor take decision accordingly. What does it mean? It means any member of the parliament, any MPs or MLA cannot hold office of profit. Cannot hold office of profit. Now why? Member of the house, member of the parliament or member of the legislative assembly cannot hold the office of profit? What is the problem in holding the office of profit? Let me tell you. If government can give monetary gain to member of the house, then the member will be obliged to support any law introduced by the government, right? So therefore, to free MP from any obligation to the government, right? Or in another word, you must be knowing that collective responsibility. Collective responsibility. Now, what is collective responsibility? The Lok Sabha, checks the government, or the government is collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha, or the government is collectively responsible to the Vidhan Sabha in a state, right? So, who are member in the Lok Sabha? MP. MP can better check the government when they are free from any obligation from state, right? Otherwise, MP will be obligation under the government if government provides some monetary benefit, right? So, in order to ensure collective responsibility, office of profit was introduced in the Constitution. However, the Constitution does not define what is the office of profit. No, the office of profit is mentioned under the Constitution, but it is not defined by the Constitution that what is office of profit. Then you will ask, sir, how did you define that? My dear, I have defined according to the Supreme Court judgment, right, given in 2006, right, in Jaya Bachchan case. Jaya Bachchan was a member of Rajya Sabha, and she also, at the same time, taken the position in the UP television board. Now, her candidacy was challenged that she has violated the office of profit principle. Now, she had to resign, right? And in that case, Supreme Court defined what is office of profit. And Supreme Court defined any government office which gives monetary gain to any member of the parliament or the state assembly can be called office of profit. Now, you can see in 1959, Parliament passed a law, and that law name is the Parliament Prevention of Disqualification Act 1959. In this law, if you look at many posts exempted from the office of profit, And this law is amended by the Indian Parliament 6 times. 6 times till now. What do you mean by 6 times? It means many posts were exempted from the office of profit. For example, the office of, commander. For example, any member of parliament can be the commander, right? Or any commander, any army officer can become member of the parliament, but he can remain member of the army, territorial army, right? And he can get both the gain, the money from both the sides. That cannot be called office of profit. Like vice chancellor of university, that was exempted. Now the chairperson of National Commission for Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribe, they are exempted from office of profit. So my submission here is that the law, the Parliament Prevention of Disqualification Act 1959, actually exempts several posts from the office of profit. And this law had been amended several times, right? And recently, 3-4 years ago, the law exempted, the chairman of the National Commission for Scheduled Tribe and Scheduled Caste from the office of profit. So any member of the parliament can also remain the chairperson of the National Commission of SC or ST. They cannot be disqualified, right? So you can see this is correct. Now above mentioned act was amended 5 times. I told you the 6 times, right? So yes, 6 times hai to 5 times to hua hi hai. Now the term office of profit is well defined in the constitution. No, I told you that the office of profit is not defined by the Indian constitution. Basically, it is the Supreme Court of India in 2006 which defined what is office of profit. Right? So we can see here that 1 and 2 are correct and 3rd is not correct. So here we have to find 1 and 2. And you can see options A consists 1 and 2. Let me move to next question. Right? Which of the following is not correct regarding an adjournment motion under parliamentary proceedings? Okay, adjournment motion. Now, what is adjournment motion? First, you need to understand what is motion, then I will talk about adjournment motion. Motion. First, motion. To begin any discussion in the parliament, motion is introduced. To begin any discussion in the parliament, motion is introduced. So, a motion can be a draft of paper, a piece of paper, a piece of draft. कुछ लिख करके इंट्रोड्यूस करना है, that is called motion, right? So that is called motion. What is motion? Anything written draft, a written proposal in order to initiate debate can be called motion. Now I hope you got the motion. Now come to adjournment motion. What is the adjournment motion? Basically, adjournment motion is a very, very important motion in order to attract, attention of the parliament regarding very urgent matter. Now, this motion needs 50 members to be signed before its introduction. A member cannot introduce it. At least 50 members should sign it, right? And then it can be introduced. And let me tell you, it can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha, not in the Rajya Sabha. No. Adjournment motion, right? There are 2 motions which cannot be introduced in the Rajya Sabha. One is adjournment motion and second is no confidence motion. no confidence motion. This two motion cannot be introduced in the right Rajya Sabha. Now adjournment motion can be introduced only in the Lok Sabha, right? Now if you look at when members introduces adjournment motion, right, it should be on urgent matter and must be focused one. It must be focused one, right? Only one topic that can be discussed, right? It cannot discuss several matters. It cannot discuss also matter which is already pending before the house, no, right? And therefore if you look at adjournment motion is very important. It suspends the business of the house in the parliament, right? So if you look at, and this motion also cannot be introduced on any issue which is under the sub judice, under the judiciary, which is under the consideration of the judiciary. And therefore you can see adjournment motion is a very important motion that is introduced in the Lok Sabha, right? So here you can see that is about adjournment motion. Now look at adjournment motion. The motion needs support of at least 15 members of the house to be admitted. Yeah, only in the Lok Sabha, right? The motion can be introduced in both the house of the parliament. No, right? The motion should cover only one matter. Yes, very urgent matter, and only one matter. Cannot be subtopic. No, only one topic that can be discussed. The motion should not deal with any matter that is under adjudication by the court. Yeah, right. This is correct. This is also correct. So look at B. Is something not correct regarding the adjournment motion, right? Now let me move to the next. With reference to the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, now look at the very important topic that we are going to discuss. A speaker, right? Now this time speaker and deputy speaker both are controversial. Now last year we actually recommended the students focus on deputy speaker, and UPSC asked question on deputy speaker. This time we are focusing that you must go through the role of the speaker, right? And there may be question on speaker. There may be, right? Now look at a speaker, right? A speaker is the presiding officer. In the Lok Sabha. First you should understand, a speaker is a presiding officer of the Lok Sabha. He is like boss. He is like boss in the Rajya Sabha. And the president fixes the date. The president fixes date of election for the speaker, right? Generally the first day Supreme President fix, okay, on the first day speaker shall be elected. Let me tell you, if president does not fix the date of a speaker, speaker cannot be elected. Then the Lok Sabha actually elected, Lok Sabha elects the speaker from amongst its members. अपने मेंबर के में से वो एक को चुनेंगे, right? Now look at the salary and allowances of the speaker is fixed by the parliament, right? जो भी salary इनको मिलेगा and allowances of the speaker parliament. Now you should know that a speaker has lots of power. A speaker derives power from three things. Derives power from three sources. Right? What are three sources? One is the constitution. First is the source of power for speaker is constitution. Second is the rule book of the Lok Sabha. Right? It is called rule of the procedures and conduct of the conduct. So it's called rule book. Rule book of the Lok Sabha also give lots of power to the speaker. And then what is convention? What do you mean by convention? The parliamentary convention, right? Which is developed, in the last, 5 decades or 6 decades. So these are the, now, can a speaker be removed? How a speaker can be removed? Let me tell you. A speaker can be, I talked about election, I talked about salary, I talked about the power, few power let me talk about, then I'll talk about, removal. If you look at power, there are many power. If you look at power and functions, of the speaker of the Lok Sabha, it has several power and functions. Right? Now, first power is the speaker actually is the guardian of the Lok Sabha. He maintains decorum in the house. Right? He is the final authority to decide, about the interpretation of the constitution or interpretation of any law of any rule book or any statute. So he is a guardian, a speaker is a guardian, is guardian of the house. I told you that he is a boss in the house. Right? Now, secondly, if you look at, he can preside joint sitting. He can preside joint sitting. Now you will ask, what is joint sitting, sir? Let me tell you, when Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha both have joint sitting, it is only the speaker of the Lok Sabha who will preside. Right? When the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha both will meet for the joint sitting, it is only the speaker who shall presides to the meeting, not the ex officio of the Rajya Sabha. Right? Now, if you look at third, if you look at about money bill, the speaker decides whether particular bill is money bill or not. Now, the first most important is also, the speaker does not vote at first instance. The speaker does not vote at first instance. The speaker votes when there is a tie, right? So he does or she does called casting vote. It is called casting vote. And therefore we see that, the speaker does casting vote. So that is power and functions. Let me talk about removal. How the president can be removed. Now, president can be removed by the Lok Sabha itself, right? Through a special resolution. but the speaker should be informed 14 days before, right? The speaker should inform 14 days before, and when the resolution is under consideration, right, passed, now the speaker will not preside during that time. Who will preside during when that resolution is going on in the parliament? Now it is the deputy speaker. The deputy speaker will preside during that time, right? And do you know that this time the current Lok Sabha has no deputy speaker? The current Lok Sabha has no deputy speaker, and that's why deputy speaker post is also very much important. Now speaker post is also very important for prelims point of view, right? So they can be removed by the house, member of the house, by a special resolution, right? But before resolution, 14 days prior notice should be given to the speaker, right? Now when removal process is going on, now that time the speaker can do, or speaker can vote at first instance, right? This time he cannot, this time he does not use the casting vote. He use the first vote at first instance, because that time removal resolution is going on, right? So that you can see that how removal is done of speaker. Now you see question. Now look at the question. The salaries, so with reference to the speaker of the Lok Sabha, consider the following statements. The salaries and allowances of the speaker are fixed by the parliament, correct? The decision of the speaker in the case of disqualification under the 10th schedule is not subject to judicial review. Now this is very important. The speaker also decides about this disqualification of members. When there is a question of defection, the 10th schedule. Now let me tell you, article says that, the speaker is a final authority to decide disqualification in case of defection. But in 1994, in Kyoto Holhan case, Supreme Court said that the Speaker of the House has authority to decide whether, to decide in the case of disqualification, right? Disqualification under 10th schedule. But their decision can be reviewed by the court, right? Can be reviewed by the court. Now look at the decision of the speaker in the case of disqualification under 10th schedule is not subject to, it is subject to judicial review now, right? So this is wrong. According to Constitution, yes, it is not. But if you look at Supreme Court, no, polity is not something Indian Constitution. Polity is also what court said, what court had given judgment, right? Polity is actually a process, a combination of process. So this is correct, not correct. The speaker can be removed by a resolution passed by the Lok Sabha by a simple majority. No, it needs special majority. So only one. B, B is correct answer. B is correct answer. Now let me move to the next question, and then we will decode new concept. Look at the concepts here. Consider the following statements. The President of India can summon a session of the Parliament at such a place as he or she thinks fit. Yeah, I think the President of India can summon the house, right? Can summon each house to sit, right, at a place and the time as the president thinks fit. President can summon the house to meet in Goa. The house can meet in Goa, right? So you can see this is correct. The Constitution of the India provides for 3 sessions of the Parliament in a year. It is not mandatory to conduct all 3 sessions. No, the Constitution of India does not actually talk about the 3 sessions. Basically, it is a rule book of the Parliament. There is no minimum number of days that Parliament is required to meet in a year. Yeah, there is no such writing, this days here, this date Parliament should sit. Right, so this is also incorrect. So only one is the right answer of this question. Now look at the next question. With reference to the Constitution, consider the following statements. The first session after each general election and the first session of every fiscal year of the Parliament is addressed by the President. Yeah, it is correct. Now, if you look at the President, addresses the Parliament before each financial year, right? And the President also addresses each new Parliament, the first day of new Parliament, right? For example, in 2024, there shall be a new Parliament in May around. Now, the first day, the President shall address the House, and then the House will begin its work, right? So, you should, remember this. This is correct. The President outlines the last year and the current year policies and programs of the government. Yeah, it happens, right? When he or she addresses the House before the Parliament begins its work in February. The address of the President is debated in the House of the Parliament through a motion called motion of thanks. Yeah, this is correct. This is correct. All 3 statements are correct. All 3 statements are correct. Let me move to the next question. The question is, what is quorum? The term quorum refers to the minimum number of members required to be present in the House before it transacts any business. The member present in the House during the transact of business. The maximum member required to pass a bill in the House of the Parliament. The number of MPs required to be present in the Lok Sabha to initiate a resolution on impeachment. No, the quorum is the minimum number of members required to be present in the House before it can start any business. So A is the correct answer. Now it's a very easy, very clear, right? Clearly written. Fine. Now look at 10th. Next question. The leaders of the House in the Lok Sabha means, who is the leader of the House? The Prime Minister, if he is a member of the Lok Sabha. Is it? Leader of the House is the Prime Minister, if he is a member of the Lok Sabha? Yeah. The Prime Minister, whether he is a member of the Lok Sabha or the Rajya Sabha, no. Right? The PM is the leader of the House if he is a member of the Lok Sabha. But consider like Manmohan Singh. Like Manmohan Singh. He was a member of the Rajya Sabha and he was a PM. Right? Now he was a leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha. He was leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha. Right? And any nominated person, any nominated minister, nominated by whom? The Prime Minister. Any minister nominated by Prime Minister can be the leader of the House in the Lok Sabha. So, when Prime Minister is the House, he is a member of the Lok Sabha, and who is the leader of the House in the Rajya Sabha? Any minister nominated by the Prime Minister can be the leader of the house in the Rajya Sabha. So this is wrong. This is correct. So one is answer A. Right? Look at Modi. Modi ji is a leader of the house in the Lok Sabha. Why is it so? Because he is a member of the Lok Sabha. He is a Prime Minister. So he is a leader of the house. Right? Let's see. 11th question. In the context of the leader of the opposition, now question comes here, leader of opposition. In the context of the leader of the opposition, consider the following statements. The leader of the largest opposition party having not less than 1/10 seats of the total strength of the house is recognized as the leader of the opposition. It is correct, fully correct. This is a condition that a party need to fulfill before it should be recognized as a leader of opposition. Second, he is entitled to equality in terms of salary, allowances and other facility as a cabinet minister. Yeah, this is also correct. This statement is also correct. You must remember that. The first time the leader of opposition was recognized in 1969, this is also correct. The first time leader of opposition was recognized in 1969. Right? So here you see 1, 2, 3. Statement D is correct. Statement D is correct. Right? Fine. Fine. Now let me move to the next question. Question number 12. Which of the following statement is incorrect or correct? Statement is or are correct regarding a Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Now we have already discussed about a Speaker of the Lok Sabha. Now Speaker is the guardian of the rights and privileges of the Lok Sabha. Yes, a Speaker is the guardian of the rights. I told you that a Speaker is a guardian. Now, a Speaker has certain residuary power under the rules of procedures. Yes, the Speaker has residuary power, right? The Speaker decides on granting recognition to the leader of the opposition in the Lok Sabha. Yes, this is also true. But only after the fulfilling the criteria, right? And fulfilling the criteria. So all three are correct. Next question, you see, in the context of parliamentary procedures, whip, very Indian innovation. Whip is an Indian innovation. The British Parliament has no whip, right? What is whip? Basically, each party, set a monitor for their own party within to maintain discipline and decorum in the party. Like each classroom has one monitor. Right? Monitor will see, right, the decorum or discipline of the class. Similarly, each party has whip. Now read a quick question. In the context of parliamentary procedures, whip, which is following correct? It is mentioned in the rule of the house. Rule of the house? No, it is not mentioned. It is mentioned in the constitution. Not at all. It is neither mentioned. It is correct. It is correct. A whip enjoy the status of the cabinet right? No. It is mentioned neither in the constitution nor in the parliamentary statute. So if you look at whip is a very much India's invention, right? And it is neither mentioned in the constitution nor it is mentioned in the rule book, right? Now let me see question this. The adjournment sine die means terminating a sitting of the parliament for a specified time period, an indefinite time period, 1 business day, 1 session. Adjournment sine die. It means the house is adjourned for indefinite period of time. After, when session over, basically the presiding officer, said adjournment and does not mention time. It means adjournment sine die. That is called adjournment sine die. And very good thing happened after that. Thereafter, the president basically issues prorogation, a notification, that is called prorogation. Right? So now look at 15th question. Consider the following statements. The adjournment motion interrupts the normal business of the house. Yes, we have discussed adjournment motion initially. The Rajya Sabha is not permitted to use adjournment motion. Yes, Rajya Sabha is not permitted. Only Lok Sabha is permitted for adjournment motion. Motion laga hua hai. Remember, Lok Sabha is also permitted only for no confidence motion. Lok Sabha is permitted to introduce no confidence motion. Rajya Sabha, no confidence motion is not introduced in the Rajya Sabha. So that is the thing. Now look at question. In the context of adjournment motion, consider the following statement. It should cover adjournment motion, right? It should cover as many issues as speaker allow. No, only one topic, one issue can be discussed, not multiple issue. Adjournment motion actually allow to discuss only one urgent topic, urgent issue, not multiple issue. Secondly, it needs and supports of the 50 members. Yes, to be introduced in the Lok Sabha, adjournment motion needs support of 50 members at least. So here you can only 2 is correct, B is correct. Now look at the term shadow cabinet refers to the cabinet in power. No. The alternative cabinet in waiting. Yes. The cabinet of the state. No. Minority leader. No. B is correct answer. Right? Shadow cabinet is very much popular in British Parliament. Now how can I show you, shadow cabinet? Look at. Consider this is a parliament and here Prime Minister is sitting and other senior most minister is sitting, right? In just opposition to Prime Minister, here is a PM, leader of opposition also sits just opposition. And the senior most leader also of the opposition party sits correspondingly. So this is a cabinet that is called real cabinet, right? Now consider election change the scenario and this party comes to power. Now the leader of opposition sitting just in front of PM will be the PM, right? So basically this group of man, right, or group of person reflects shadow cabinet. Reflects shadow cabinet. It is practiced in not in Indian Parliament but in Parliament of United Kingdom, UK, Britain. Now look at the next question. Here there is a Now which of the following statements are not correct regarding a speaker pro tem? Now look at what is pro tem speaker. If you see there is a new parliament, now the current parliament is the 17th parliament and if you look at the new parliament will be the 18th parliament. and it will start its journey from 2024 and will remain power in 1929. I hope the current parliament will be re-elected. Anyway, this is the expectation. This is something, the aura of Modi ji. Anyway, whenever new parliament sits, what happens? The first day, senior most elected leader appointed as a pro tem speaker. Now, who does it? The president. President appoints pro tem speaker or speaker pro tem, right? Whatever you say, right? And when a speaker appoints, he actually consults the leader of, the majority party. So he is appointed by the president without consulting he consults basically, right? He knows, right? So without him, ये गड़बड़ हो जाएगा. He is responsible for the election of the speaker and deputy speaker of the Lok Sabha. Yes. He administers the oath of the newly elected members of the Lok Sabha. Yes. इसका काम प्रोटेम में स्पीकर का होता है, स्पीकर का इलेक्शन करा देना and administer oath and affirmation of all members of the newly elected Lok Sabha, right? So here can see this is also correct. So 2 and 3 is correct. Now look at next question. Which one of the following statement reflects the difference between prorogation and adjournment? Prorogation is often used when a session of the parliament has come to an end, whereas adjournment is used to terminate sitting of the house. This is correct. First is correct. The prorogation does not power of the Rajya Sabha. No. Prorogation suspends the sitting of the house for an indefinite period, while adjournment resumes the assembly. No. Prorogation is the exclusive power of no. The first is correct. Now look at the last question in this session, right? With reference to the question, consider each of the following statement. Each of the house of the parliament has a secretariat. Yes. The Lok Sabha has also its own secretariat. Rajya Sabha has its own secretariat. And the job of the secretariat is to help the presiding official while conducting the business of the house. The secretary of each house is headed by the executive general. It is correct. The secretary general is a permanent officer appointed by the presiding officer. Is it correct? 1, 2, 3. C is correct. Right. So we have seen 20 questions and thematically, and we have discussed different themes. Right. Tomorrow, the next session I will do is, on parliament. Right. So stay and connected with us. Thank you. See you.